morning, students. Today, as a part of the video lectures for the Become First Sem Business Organization subject in the Unit 2 of Business Organizations, after the completion of sole tradership and partnership, today we go for the learning of the concepts about the joint stock company. If you observe the word itself, joint stock company. Stock means money or equivalent to money's worth, or the cash or the capital in the form of shares, which can also be called as share capital or investment. Putting together, company means an association of people. So on an overall basis, if we observe, what is a joint stock company? A joint stock company is an association of people or many persons who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock and employ it in some trade or business for sharing the profits and losses as the case may be arising from time to time. A joint stock company is a voluntary association of individuals for private profit, having a capital divided into equally or transferable shares, and the ownership, which is the condition of the membership. So these are all some definitions with reference to the joint stock company is. I will give you some more exposure on the part of this company form of business organization. It is not new to the Indian scenario. The first and foremost company as a multinational corporation entered into India in the 17th century in the name of East India Company by the Britishers. And since then, the company origin has been started and continued till date and even further also. Through the East India Company, the Britishers entered into India for business, and after that they have occupied and taken the overall control of the country and the sovereignty of the country also. In the similar manner, there were so many companies established even after the East India Company have entered into India. So, as far as the independent India is concerned, we got independence in 1947, August 15th, and since then we were having our own ruling in our own hands. In 1950, we have started the development of our economy with the help of the Planning Commission and the first 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, like that. The Planning Commission has worked up to the date of the initiation of the Niti Aayog in the place of the Planning Commission. If we have reckoned what we have studied under the planning system of India, we were having the first 5-year plan, we were having the second 5-year plan with some specific and chief objectives. The first 5-year plan was with an objective of agricultural development. From 1956 onwards, we were having the second 5-year plan with the main objective of industrial development, to go for more employment generation and more industrial production and the development of the Indian economy through enhancing the GDP and growth rate of the country and to enhance the national income of the country. So as far as India is concerned, 1956, the year is called to be a golden period, because in 1956 we were having three major shift in the policy of developing the economic system. We were having the mixed economy, right? So in 1956, we have three chief characteristics what we can observe which were took place. The first one, the second 5-year plan with the main objective of industrial development. That is the first one. The second one is the formulation of the industrial policy in 1956, through which the total company management systems have been divided under three categories: Schedule A companies, Schedule B companies and Schedule C companies. Schedule A companies are purely run by the central government, funded and run by the central government. Schedule B companies are the conjugation of both the central and state government ownership and maintenance of the companies. And the Schedule C is purely for private sector. So like that, that was the second chief characteristic of the 1956 arena. And the third one is, you might have well remembered, the Indian Companies Act 1956 has come into formulation and started. So as far as India is concerned, 1956 is a golden period for the company form of business organizations and companies formation and maintenance is concerned, administration is concerned. So with that, we will enter into our topic, that is John Stuck Company. So what we have already learned about the definitions. So based upon those definitions, now we will go for the observation of the different features of the John Stuck Company. The first one is, it is an association of persons. Association means coming together, joining together, putting hand in hand together as a group of people. They will go for the formation of a company. But the number of members in the company based upon the nature of the company or the name of the company in which it is being formulated. Maybe a public limited company or a private limited company. In the case of a public limited company, the minimum number of ownership is 7 and the maximum is unlimited. Whereas in the case of the private limited, the minimum number of membership is 2 and maximum is up to 50. If we cross above 50, it will become a public limited company. Now coming to the question, here the association of persons. So as far as the minimum and maximum number of persons is concerned, we putting together, we can call it as it is an association of persons who have come together to start a business in the form of company business. So it is an association of people, right? So there is a common motive among the people, and it is also required whenever there is an association or a group, automatically it is required to be get registered with the registrar of the John Stuck Company. So it is must for that. Right? Now coming to the question of independent legal entity. Here the company has created under the law, that is Indian Companies Act. It has a separate legal entity because it is registered. We can also call it as it is having a legal existence because it is registered. And the life of the company here starts with the registration of the company itself. So it is having an independent legal entity. We can say that the company itself can venture into the agreements because the company is also having a legal personality or registration or a number, something extra. So it is having a legal entity. It can enter into agreements, it can sue the other people, it can be sued by the other people in the court of law. So it is having a legal entity. In this context, we can also come to a conclusion here. The sixth point is artificial person. Just like a human being, the John Stuck Company is also a legal person, legal being. So it can be sued by a person, it can sue other persons, it can enter into any contract right? It can go and enter into any dispute as a legal matter, as a legal person. The next one is limited liability. The liability of a company is limited to the extent of the share capital and the shares of individual shareholders is concerned. In the case of insolvency, in the case of dissolution of the company, the shareholders have got protected. Their personal assets will not go away. Their liabilities to the extent of their capital only, to the extent of their share capital only, to the extent of their contribution only. Henceforth, unlike the sole tradership and the partnership, the liability here is limited. In the case of those two, it is unlimited. Means, in the case of insolvency or dissolution, they can forego their personal belongings also. But in the case of joint stock company, the liability is limited. Next one is common seal. As a company itself is a registered body, it will have to sign on the papers whatever issued by the company or enters into an agreement with any other institution, organization or government or anywhere. So in that area, how the company will sign on behalf of it, because it is a legal personality, it is not a real human being to sign. So the company will have a common seal. When once the seal is affixed on the paper, it is meant that the company has entered into agreement by signing on it. So it is the signature of the company. So the common seal is a seal which is a identification of the company with its registration and all. So that's why it is a signating system. A common seal acts as a signating system. Next one is transferability of shares. In the case of partnership, the transferability of shares is not so easy or it is not possible. But in the case of joint stock company, the shares can be transferred to n number of people at n number of times without any resistance. So the transferability of shares will not hamper the existence of the joint stock company's registration as well as the continuation. So the transfer of shares is easier, and today we might have heard the word stock exchange. The stocks can be exchanged through the stock exchange. So the people, the investors, the shareholders of the company will go for transferring their shares as and when they feel that it is required for them to transfer the share, sell the share or buy the share through the stock exchanges. The transferability of shares does not go for an impact over the existence of the company itself. It is an artificial person. Just like a human being having legal validity, a company do also have the legal validity. It can enter into any agreement, it can sue the people, it can be sued by the people in the court of law, and it is having a legal recognition as far as the agreements are concerned or contracts are concerned, as far as the legal existence is concerned. Next one is ownership and management separate. Here the company management is different and the owners of the company are different. The owners of the company means the real investors of the company, the shareholders of the company. But the shareholders may change from time to time, day to day, time to time, minute to minute. But the management is a permanent. So the management are of specialized people, having a position in the organizational structure, having authority and responsibility and even accountability also. And because of their deeds, the company will run in. Or the company may enter into laurels or may forego the laurels also. So the management and the ownership are independent or different. So they are not dependent. When once that is a situation, here the survival of the company or the existence of the company do not be hampered at all, and it will continue forever. Next one is perpetual existence. Perpetual existence in the sense, in the case of retirement, in the case of death, or in the case of admission of a partner, automatically the partnership deed is completed and there is a need of writing another and formation of another partnership. But here in the case of the joint stock company, men may come and men may go, and it will not influence the existence of the company. Means irrespective of the death of the shareholders, irrespective of the death of the employees, irrespective of the death of the management people, or the leaving of or resigning of, in any situation, the perpetual existence means the company is not being influenced. It will continue forever. Next one is corporate finance. Here the finance is being acquired through shares. Apart from that, the financing is done through other sources like preference share capital, debenture capital, as well as the surpluses, reserves and surpluses from time to time. So here the funding what it is done is for the corporation or for the company for business financing situation. Henceforth, the company will have the finance, corporate finance. The financing here is mainly the jurisdiction of the persons who contribute their money towards the capitalization of the process of the company is depends upon the return on investment or the risk and return on the part of the organizational performance and growth and development. Henceforth, the company do have its own capitalization process and it will continue forever. The next one is structural management. Structural management in the sense the management of the company is being divided under three categories. As already we have dealt it in business management. There is a top level management, there is a middle level management, there is a bottom level management. See, overall management of the company has been divided under three categories: top level, middle level and bottom level. So this is how it is situated. It is being created with the help of a organizational structure. So then what is an organizational structure? The arrangement of the people by giving them authority and responsibility, fixing a designation and making them work for the organization in a centralized manner as well as in a decentralized manner. Henceforth, the total organizational management is going to be done through structured way. The top level management is related to the strategic management of the organization. The middle level management is going to work on the functionary areas, business functionary areas of the organization. And the bottom level management is dealing with the operations of the organization. Henceforth, putting together the top level to middle level to bottom level, where the guidance, direction and control will exist, where here from the bottom level to middle level to top level, the reporting will exist or the review will exist. So automatically the company management will be in a more perfect manner rather than in the case of the other forms of business organization. And the last point today we will go for discussion is the publication of books of accounts. It is must under the Companies Act, Indian Companies Act. The recent Indian Companies Act is 2013. Whatever it may be, whether it is 1956 or whether it is 2013. It is an obligation on the part of the company, whether it is a publicly limited company or a joint stock company or a private limited company. It is must to publish the books of accounts. They should maintain the books of accounts. They should be well audited and they should publish it in the newspapers, in the official gazettes, and a copy of the published books of accounts which were duly audited should be submitted to the registrar of the joint stock companies from the time to time as far as the business year is concerned or the financial year is concerned. Henceforth, the publication of accounts will be compulsory, and where that the company's overall caricature, overall picture, overall scenario, the growth, the development, the future expansion, the policies of the government have been formulated or not, and the following of the policies of the company itself as it is drafted by themselves will all be observed here through the books of accounts which were published. So as an overall basis, if we can compare it with the other two forms, that is sole tradership and partnership, it is more structured, more official, more formal, more legal, and having more transparency also as far as the management of the joint stock company is concerned. Tomorrow we will go for learning the merits and demerits of the joint stock company, right? If you have any doubts, you can ask in the assignment as well as in the review program which will be conducted from time to time. Thank you very much.